So it's time to place an offer. How are your nerves? Let's talk about that in module 6 of our Clever Home Buyer program. Okay, so you can see now that we've moved through planning and learning and researching and inspecting and evaluating the amount of money we believe we'd like to pay for the home. The next step is presenting an offer to the sales agent so that the seller considers your offer. And I want you to know how to create a strong offer so that your seller is tempted by your offer. So therefore, we are going to move straight into this workbook. And if we have a look at the table of contents, there's really two main areas that this workbook concentrates on. The first is understanding the Queensland contract of sale. It's a contract that's created by the REIQ, and it's designed so that people can buy homes in Queensland with a contract to use that basically covers everything and protects both the buyer and seller. It does have flexibility in it, though, so that you or the seller can place special conditions in the contract or negotiate terms in the contract. And we'll cover all of that in this module. And then after we've learned a bit about the contract, then we're going to devise a really good strategy for you to place a strong offer. And there's only one worksheet in this module. Yay. So to make an offer, consolidate all the information you have about the property from previous modules. And if you believe that you're out of your depth, then if you've got a buyer's coach, call your buyer's coach. Speak to somebody with experience if you believe you're out of your depth, because this might be your one and only chance to place an offer on a property that you've fallen in love with. And we want to help you through that. So the contract of sale, and like I said before, it's put together by the REIQ, which is the Real Estate Institute of Queensland, alongside the Queensland Law Society. So it's widely used. The chances of you coming across a contract that isn't the REIQ contract of sale for a regular home is slim. And so there are 3 ways you can place an offer. One is by signing the contract of sale and presenting that to the sales agent. The sales agent might just ask you to, I don't have one handy here, but the sales agent might ask you to simply complete submit an offer on an offer form like this. A simple form. That's not a contract. There's no signatures on it, but it does give you the opportunity to place your conditions that one condition might be that you need 2 weeks to get your finance sorted. That's a condition. If there's somebody else who places an offer and they don't need 2 weeks to get their finance sorted, then their offer is going to look more appealing than yours. That's how that works. So, and then, sometimes a sales agent might just go, send me an email, put the offer in an email and send it to me. And that has happened as well. So they're the three main ways that you can place an offer. And so we'll talk about the contract of sale and the flexibility in the contract of sale and sample special conditions that you'll see in a standard contract of sale. So whilst it's a standard contract, it has flexibility and the opportunity to put in special conditions. And we've listed a few special conditions there for you to get an idea. Now, the contract of sale is the realm of your conveyancer. And so our job as buyer's agents is to make you aware of the document and how you can use the flexibility within that contract to assist you and to make the purchase more sympathetic to your needs. The actual wording for the contract is your conveyancer's job. When replying to a solicitor, that's your conveyancer's job. Leave it all to the experts. Today, I'm just giving you general awareness of what's included so that you can feel empowered to say to your solicitor or conveyancer, I'd like you to put this in my contract. Or the seller has got a 90-day settlement, but I need a 30-day settlement. What can we do about that? So that's your conveyancer's job. They'll do some negotiating for you in that area. However, that doesn't replace the relationship that you have developed with the sales agent. There's a cooling off period that we also need to talk about. And it's another thing that can be waived. You can waive the cooling off period. If you're like, nope, I want this house, I want it, and I want to make my offer appealing, so I'm waiving the cooling off period. That's an option. When you buy a home at auction, there is no cooling off period. You've bought it under the hammer, and you better be ready to pay that 10% deposit on that day. So that we therefore do talk about deposits and avoiding contract mistakes. So that's your conveyancer's job again, is to avoid you having mistakes relating to the contract. And there's a lot of possible mistakes. And then contracts at auction. So we have to talk about that because if you're wanting to place an offer before auction and the sales agent says to you, well, place your offer, but make it on contract terms. What does that mean? This is what that means. So that's about the contract of sale. And then we also go into the strategies around placing an offer. And there are broadly two common ways that you will place an offer. The cheapest and most common process is the form that I showed you earlier. The sales agent will ask you to submit that. They may say to you, just fill it out and take a photograph of it with your phone and text me that. They just need it in writing. Doesn't matter how they get it. It's got to be in writing. Never just give an offer over the phone. Because if it's in writing, they're obligated to present that offer to their seller in Queensland. And if it's just verbal, they could forget. They could go, it's not a serious offer. It wasn't even in writing. I won't even mention it. So you need to talk about that in more detail. The second way is that you can take a little longer, but you can get the conveyancer to look at the contract before you sign it, submit the signed contract. It's very difficult for a seller to say no. You've already signed that contract. You are there. If they sign it too, they've sold their house. So it's tempting. And as buyer's agents, that's our strategy. We will submit offers that way. So knowing that in advance is clever. There is a number of questions you must ask before you place your offer. And then there are the situations where there are multiple offers. And so what might happen is 8 people might all be placing an offer in on a particular home by 4 p.m. on Monday. And so once the agent realizes there's more than one offer coming in, they must advise you of this in a formal way by asking you to sign a form saying that you are aware that you're not the only person placing an offer on that property. And that's called a multiple offers form. And it is also from the REIQ because you could be thinking that you're the only person putting an offer in, and you just need to be aware that when you're not, that you're not. Tips to consider when placing an offer and making an attractive offer in a seller's market. I touched on that a bit, making an offer in a buyer's market. And then what to do and what they're about when it's a best and final offer. Basically, it's the sales agent running the game. It's their game. They can say it's best and final offers in by 4 o'clock on Monday. And then they'll call you and say, okay, so we've had several offers come through. Yours is looking attractive. The seller likes your terms. We just need you to bump it up another 10 grand or 30 grand or let's make it a round number. So that's when negotiations are important. Making an offer prior to auction. We need to dig into that because it happens a lot. And after you place an offer, what's going to be happening with that piece of paper that you sent to the sales agent? What about their feedback that they're likely to give you? So this here is a sample settlement timeline, which I think is important to understand at this phase in the process. So we'll go through that in a lot more detail. And so the worksheets that we've supplied for you with this module is preparing your offer. I've actually put it in twice in case you just want to have it twice. Because it's an important piece of paper and I would photocopy it and work through this for each property that you place an offer on. So that's it. There's still a lot to cover and I'm very honored that you're here on this journey with me. I'll see you in the next video.